They told us what happened in that gym would never leave that gym. No phones, no cameras, no outside noise, just us, the court, and the truth. Team USA camp has always been like that. Private, controlled, protected, but some moments are too big to stay hidden. Some moments change everything, not just for a team, but for you as a person. And day 2 is that moment for me. When I walked into the facility that morning, I could feel it immediately. It wasn't like day 1. Day 1 was polite, everyone smiling, everyone pretending they weren't competing for the same. Limited spots, veterans acting calm, young players acting grateful just to be there. It was respectful, but it wasn't real. Day 2 was real. Nobody was smiling anymore. Nobody was trying to impress anyone with words. This was about actions now, about proving you belonged, about proving you weren't just another name on the list. I didn't say much when I walked in. I didn't need to. I grabbed a ball and went to center court, started dribbling slow, controlled, just listening to the sound of the ball hitting the floor, feeling the rhythm, feeling my breathing, feeling my focus lock in, because I knew something. I wasn't there to fit in. I was there to take my place. The first scrimmage started simple, basic sets, basic movement, nothing special. But on the first possession, I caught the ball near the top. The play wasn't designed for me to shoot. It was supposed to go somewhere else. That's how Team USA worked. Everyone shared, everyone waited their turn. But I didn't wait. I took 2 steps back. I could see the defender hesitate. She didn't think I'd shoot from there. Most players wouldn't, but I'm not most players. I rose up, released the ball, watched it fly. Swish. No reaction, no celebration. I just turned and ran back on defense. Because for me, that shot wasn't a surprise. It was a message, and I could feel the gym change. It got quiet. Not normal quiet. Different quiet. The kind of quiet where everyone is thinking the same thing, but nobody wants to say it. I wasn't just there to be part of the team. I was there to lead it. I could see the veterans watching me differently now. The coaches, too. You can feel those things. You don't need anyone to say it. But there was one person in that gym who wasn't just watching. She was waiting. Angel Reese. I've played against Angel before. Everyone knows that. Everyone talks about it like it's the only story that matters. Rivalry, competition, drama. But what people don't understand is this. When you step on the court at that level, it's not about hate. It's about respect. And respect has to be earned every single time. The next possession, Angel demanded the ball. You could hear her voice echo through the gym. She wasn't asking. She was claiming her moment. She scored, and she made sure everyone saw it. She screamed, flexed, let the energy out, and I understood why. She wasn't trying to beat me. She was trying to prove she belonged, just like I was. But here's the difference. I didn't need to prove it with noise. I proved it with control. Every possession after that became a battle. Not loud, not obvious, but real. She would score. I would answer. She would fight for rebounds. I would create shots. She played with fire. I played with focus, and focus wins longer battles. Then came the moment everyone remembers. She picked me up full court. That wasn't part of the drill. That wasn't part to the system. That was personal. She bumped me, pressured me, tried to speed me up. But I've been pressured my whole life. I didn't panic. I slowed down. That's the secret nobody talks about. When everything around you speeds up, the most powerful thing you can do is slow down. I stopped at the top of the key, looked right at her. She was waiting, so I smiled, not because it was funny, but because I knew something she didn't. Pressure doesn't break me. It reveals me. I made my move, got past her, drew the help, made the pass, easy basket. And in that moment, I think everyone understood something. You can challenge me, you can test me, you can doubt me, but you cannot stop me from being who I am. And that was only the beginning, because what happened next is when everything changed. After that play, I could feel the shift, not just in the game, in everything. Nobody said it out loud, but everyone felt it. This wasn't just another practice anymore. This was a decision about who this team was going to become. We kept playing, but it wasn't the same. Every possession felt heavier. Every movement meant more. Angel wasn't backing down. That's one thing I've always respected about her. She doesn't disappear when things get hard. She gets louder, more aggressive, more determined. And she did exactly that. She started attacking every chance she got, fighting for position, crashing the boards, using her strength, her energy, her presence. She scored again and again, and every time she did, she looked like she was sending a message. So I sent one back, not with words, with decisions. I started controlling the pace, slowing the game down, reading everything, watching where the defense moved before they even realized they were moving. That's when the game becomes simple. When you stop reacting and start predicting. I hit another shot, then another pass, then another play. I wasn't trying to outshine anyone. I was trying to outthink everyone, because basketball at that level isn't about who's stronger. It's about who sees it first. But Angel wasn't done. Late in the scrimmage, she met me again near half court, this time even more physical, more direct, more personal. She bumped me harder. I stayed calm. She pressed closer. I stayed calm. She wanted a reaction. I gave her execution. I crossed over, drove, drew the defense, passed it, bucket. And that's when the coaches called timeout. Not a normal timeout, a real one. The kind where everyone knows something important just happened. We walked to the sidelines, nobody talking, nobody joking, just thinking. I sat down, grabbed a towel, tried to slow my breathing, but I could see it out of the corner of my eye. The coaches were talking to Angel separately, away from everyone else. I didn't hear the words, but I understood the moment, because I've been in moments like that before. Moments where everything you thought was certain suddenly isn't. Moments where you realize talent alone isn't enough. Moments where you realize this level demands something more. When the timeout ended, they made a change. They moved me with the starters, and they moved her to the second group. Nobody explained it. They didn't have to. You don't need words to understand decisions like that. And I'll be honest, I didn't celebrate because I knew what it meant. It meant responsibility. It meant expectations. It meant pressure. And pressure isn't something you escape. It's something you carry. The next scrimmage started, and Angel came out angry. Not reckless. Focused, angry, the dangerous kind. She scored immediately. Then again. Then again. She wasn't quitting. She was fighting, and part of me respected it even more, because most people break when things go against them. She didn't. She pushed harder. But here's what I've learned. Emotion burns fast. Control burns longer. I didn't try to match her intensity. I matched her patience. I moved the ball, created space, let the game come to me. And slowly, everything shifted again. Our team started pulling ahead, not because of one play, because of every play. And that's how leadership really works. Not loud, not obvious, but constant. Angel kept fighting, kept pushing, kept trying to carry everything herself. The basketball doesn't reward individuals forever, and it rewards systems. It rewards trust. It rewards timing. And timing was on my side. Then came the moment nobody talks about honestly. She caught the ball near the block. I rotated over. She lowered her shoulder and hit me hard. Not enough to knock me down, but enough to make a point. The whistle blew, offensive foul, and then she walked toward me, closer than before, and she said something to me, 4 words, "You're not better than me." The gym froze, everyone waiting, everyone watching, everyone expecting something, but I didn't say anything. I didn't argue. I didn't react. I just smiled, because the truth doesn't need defending. And in that moment, I think she understood that too, but what happened after that is what really changed everything. She stood there in front of me, breathing heavy, waiting for me to answer her. The entire gym was silent, the kind of silence that only happens when everyone knows something important is unfolding. I could see the frustration in her eyes, the fire, the pride, and underneath it all, something else. Something that looked like fear. Not fear of me, but fear of what this moment meant. Fear that things were changing. Fear that maybe for the first time she wasn't in control of the narrative anymore. I didn't respond. I didn't need to, because basketball's always been the only language I trust. Words can be twisted, emotions can lie, but the game always tells the truth. I turned and walked toward the free throw line, and behind me I could hear the noise start to return. Shoes squeaking, players talking, coaches whispering, but nothing was the same anymore. Practice ended early that day. Nobody said it officially, but everyone knew why. Coaches gathered in small circles. Players stayed quiet. Nobody was laughing. Nobody was relaxed because we all understood that something bigger than practice had just happened. Something that would decide roles, decide trust, decide the future of this team. I went back to the locker room and sat down alone. I replayed every possession in my head, every decision, every mistake, every message I had sent without saying a word. Because leadership isn't about dominating, it's about responsibility. And responsibility means you don't have to hide. Later that evening, I got a message, team meeting, early morning, mandatory, no explanation, just a time and a room number. I didn't sleep much that night, not because I was nervous, but because I knew what was coming. I knew decisions were being made. And decisions like that don't just change teams, they change careers. So when I walked into that room the next morning, Sue Bird was already there, and the coaches were there too. They asked me to sit down, and then they told me something that I'll never forget. They said they had been watching everything, not just the shots, not just the assists, but the way I handled pressure, the way I handled confrontation, the way I handled silence. And then they told me they wanted me to lead, not just play, lead. I didn't celebrate. I didn't smile, because being chosen doesn't make things easier. It makes things heavier. It means every mistake is yours. Every failure is yours. Every success is yours too, but success is never the part that scares you. It's the responsibility, it's the expectations, it's knowing that everyone is watching to see if you deserve it. I nodded and accepted it, not because I wanted the spotlight, but because I understood what it meant. And as I stood up to leave, Sue said one more thing. She said, leadership isn't about proving you're better, it's about proving everyone else can be better because of you. That stayed with me. A few minutes later, they brought Angel in. I didn't hear their conversation, but I didn't need to. I could see her when she walked out. Her expression was different. Still strong, still proud, but different. Like she had just faced something real, something honest, something that forced her to look at herself in a way she hadn't before. We didn't talk that morning. We didn't need to. Some conversations happen without words. Practice started again, and this time everything felt different. Not easier, just clearer. The coaches put us on the same team for the first time. I could feel everyone watching, waiting, wondering if what happened yesterday would explode again. The first few possessions were awkward. Timing was off. Trust was fragile. But then it happened. She set a screen for me. I drove. The defense collapsed. And for a split second, I had a choice. Take the shot or trust her. I passed it, she caught it, scored, and when she turned, she pointed at me. Not in anger, not in rivalry, in respect. And that was the moment everything changed. After that play, something unlocked between us. It wasn't friendship, not yet. It was something more important. Trust. The kind of trust that only comes from competition, from testing each other, from seeing how someone responds when everything is on the line. The game started to slow down for me again. I could see the floor the way I always had. Angles opened, passing lanes appeared, and now when she moved, I understood why she wasn't trying to prove something anymore. She was trying to win, and that changes everything. Possession after possession, we started to figure each other out. I would push the ball in transition, and she would already be sprinting to the exact spot where the defense was weakest. She grabbed rebounds like she was taking something that belonged to her, and every time she secured one, she looked for me, not to challenge me and to start the next attack. That's when I realized something most people never understand. Leadership isn't about controlling people. It's about connecting them, giving them something to believe in that's bigger than themselves. The coaches saw it too. I could see it in their faces. They stopped interrupting, stopped correcting every little detail. They just watched because they knew something real was forming, something you can force. Chemistry isn't built in meetings, it's built in moments. And we were creating those moments in real time. Every cut, every pass, every defensive stop, it wasn't perfect. There were still mistakes, still misreads, still frustration. But the difference was now we fix it together. At one point, I made a bad pass, turnover, completely my fault. The old version of her probably would have reacted, said something, shown frustration, but she didn't. She ran back on defense, got the stop. And when we came back to the bench, she looked at me and said, "Next one." Just 2 words, but those 2 words told me everything. She wasn't fighting me anymore. She was fighting with me. That afternoon, the coaches introduced a new offensive system. They said it would be built around movement, around unpredictability, around pressure. But I knew what they really meant. They were building it around us, around what we had just discovered, around the connection we were still learning to trust. They put the ball in my hands and told everyone else to move. And when practice resumed, it felt different. Faster, sharper, alive. There was one play I'll never forget. I brought the ball up. Defense was tight. They were daring me to force something. She came up and set a screen. Hard. Clean. Perfect. I turned the corner and saw 3 defenders collapse on me. And without even looking, I passed it behind me. I didn't need to see her. I knew she'd be there. She caught it and finished. Easy. The gym went quiet again. Not because they were shocked, but because they understood. We weren't rivals anymore. We were a problem. And for the first time since camp started, I saw something in her eyes that I hadn't seen before. Not anger, not pride, belief, not in herself, in us. That night, I didn't celebrate. I didn't replay highlights in my head. I just sat alone in my hotel room, staring at the ceiling, thinking about how fast everything had changed 24 hours earlier. It felt like everyone was waiting to see if I would break, waiting to see if I really belonged here. And now, the conversation wasn't about whether I could make the team. It was about something else, something heavier, something bigger. It was about whether I was ready to lead it. The next morning, I walked into the gym before anyone else. I always do that. I like the silence, the empty court, the sound of the ball echoing when no one else is there. It reminds me why I started. It was never about headlines, never about proving people wrong. It was about moments like this, moments where everything you've worked for is standing right in front of you, waiting for you to take it. When the rest of the team arrived, the energy was different. People talked to me differently, looked at me differently, not like a rookie anymore, not like an outsider, like someone they trusted. And trust is earned in the quiet moments, not when everyone is watching, but when nobody is. Practice started, and this time there was no hesitation, no testing, no feeling each other out. We just played. And she was right there with me, running, fighting, doing everything the team needed. Not everything she wanted, everything we needed. That's when I knew she had made her decision. Not the one she told the coaches, the one she told herself. Later that day, the coaches called us into a meeting. They told us the roles were being finalized. They told me I would be running the team, starting, leading, representing something bigger than myself. And when they said it, I didn't feel pressure. I felt responsibility. Because leadership isn't about being the best player in the room. It's about making everyone else believe they can be better. I looked across the room, and she was sitting there listening, calm, focused. She didn't look angry, didn't look disappointed. She just nodded like she already knew, like she had already accepted it. And in that moment, I respected her more than I ever had before, because accepting a role isn't weakness, it's strength. Our first exhibition game came soon after. Real opponents, real stakes, real pressure. And when the game started, everything we built in that gym showed up. Every read, every movement, every moment of trust. I pushed the pace. She controlled the paint. When they stopped me, she punished them. When they focused on her, I made them pay. It wasn't planned. It wasn't scripted. It was instinct. There was one moment late in the game. I brought the ball up. She set the screen. The defense collapsed on me. Same situation, same pressure. And again, I trusted it. I passed it to her. She finished, and when we ran back on defense, she pointed at me, not to challenge me, not to prove something, to acknowledge something. We were no longer chasing the same spot. We were building the same future. When the final buzzer sounded, we had won easily, but the score didn't matter. What mattered was what we had become. Not rivals, not enemies, teammates, leaders. Something this game had never seen before. And as I walked off that court, I realized something that nobody outside that gym would ever fully understand. They thought Team USA camp was where everything almost fell apart. But for me, that was where everything actually began.